Now, I'd like to proceed with the presentation that's going to be made by our main guest speaker, Mr. J. Taiwo Pupola. All right, sir, the floor is yours.
Good morning, all. And I want to first of all appreciate Credit Bureau Association of Nigeria, and I recognize the presence of the chairman, Dr. Tunde Pupola. And please pardon me, all other protocol duly observed. Before I go into the presentation, Credit Bureau is a very, I want to say, very good development in our economy, especially with the level of MSMEs. And I think by this, you are opening up the economy to the MSME. I need to say that before moving into the presentation. However, we all know that MSME is a known fact that they are the bedrock of the economy, but then bookkeeping is one of their problems. And that's why I want to say once more that this presentation is appropriate and it's at the right time. It's at the right time. This morning, this presentation, first of all, deal with the introduction. Then we'll look at the definition of bookkeeping. Then we look at why bookkeeping matters in running any business whatsoever. Then we go through the 7 steps of bookkeeping process that MSMEs, they need to be aware of. Then we close by looking at, do I do it myself or do I use a professional? So I like to comment, because each time we come across people who know the importance of bookkeeping, we always want to commend them, especially in our climate here, where people just run this as a way of just putting food on their table. So when you see somebody like that, you commend them for having mind of helping the economy, because if you have proper bookkeeping, you are going to help the economy. So I need to appreciate all the entrepreneurs that are always rolling up their sleeves to ensure that they keep their books. Bookkeeping can be tedious. In fact, it's a technical area. So those who are putting their sweat equity in order to ensure that this priceless thing is done, and for them to have financial insight into their business, we always appreciate them. Bookkeeping, you are driving blind like a car without a gas gauge. Sure, the car is driving fine, but who knows how long before you have to pull over and wait for a friend to bring a jerry can. So in this webinar, I'll just walk us through the basics of what bookkeeping is, why it matters, and the 7 key steps to getting your own bookkeeping process off the ground. What is bookkeeping? Bookkeeping is the process of tracking all your company's financial transactions, so you can see exactly where your business is spending money, where your revenue is coming from. And of course, once you register your company, you are a candidate of the tax authorities. And so we look at which tax deductions you'll be able to claim. And in other words, you can look at bookkeeping from the view of, it's just a way of capturing your financial transactions, putting them in proper perspective in terms of summary, then generating generate reports that you can use for decision making. Having said that, I'd like us to look at why bookkeeping matters in any business, in any organization where money is to be discussed. The number one thing is that bookkeeping ensures that you don't miss out on deductions. Why deductions? Is the fact that when you are in business, you have to pay tax. So if you don't arrange your things and your financial transaction in such a way that you can make you enjoy deductions from the tax authority, you might discover that you are just working for the government. Then number two, it can help you when you have good bookkeeping. It is a good way whereby you can get a business loan for expansion. Thinking of expanding your business, if you need financing of any kind, having well-kept books gives lenders or investors a clear idea of your business current financial status and allows them to make financial projections about your company's ability to pay off your loan in the future. The reason why so many MSMEs are facing expansion, are facing difficulty in expanding their business, this is one of it. And that's why it is necessary. As many MSMEs that are here that are thinking of expansion, first of all, go and put your books in order. Bookkeeping is essential for you. Number three, of course, when you are running your business, you have bank accounts, and the bank account, your money is with some other people. Proper bookkeeping will help you to be able to know where there are errors. So it helps you catch banking errors quickly. It helps you to catch banking errors quickly. Four, and this is more or less the most important part of it. It gives you a clear picture of where your money is going. Where your money is going. So many businesses have really lost out in these regards. You may be able to see your bottom line by glancing at your bank balance, but the ups and downs in your account are also telling a story. Are sales up? Are you shipping costs too high? Are your shipping costs too high? Who knows? Paying attention to your financial statement is a great way to get to know the story of your business. We are all very familiar with the stock exchange, where they do facts behind the figures. It is only when you have proper bookkeeping you can have facts behind the figures. So this is very, very important. And I want to give us bonus here. That is number 5. Before I move to the next where to start, I wanted to tell us that one more important thing that bookkeeping, why it matters, is for decision making. When you are running a business, you are to make decisions. You make decisions every day. Bookkeeping helps you a lot in making decisions as touching your business. And bookkeeping helps a lot in the sense that you want to compare the amount you pay for certain service last year with what happened this year. You want to know the reason why. You want to know your sales Where are your major sales coming from? It is bookkeeping that will tell you all these stories. And you want to look at your expenses. Probably you are looking at your administrative expenses. You want to know which one is really dropping money. And it is bookkeeping that can tell you all this. Let's move to where to start. Where do I start bookkeeping for my business? And before we go into this, I want us to know that bookkeeping is a technical area. And even when you, as a business owner, you want to do it by yourself, there's a limit. And so what I'll discuss here is just to give us an insight as to the knowledge we need in starting a booking process, and also those ones we will need along the line. So I might be making it so easier, but know that you will still need the assistance of a professional. Number one thing that you need to do is to separate your business and personal expenses. You need to understand that. To track your business expenses effectively, it is important to permanently separate them from your personal finances. Why? If you don't separate them from your personal finances, there will be muddled up. If you are running a limited liability entity and there is sufficient distance between your personal and business finances, there's a chance that you will muddle your finances. And it will be difficult to ascertain where you are. In such a way that it will be very difficult to ascertain the performance and financial position of your business. This also applies to running an enterprise, not just a limited liability company. There is a popular company, no longer in the stock exchange. What really ruined that company was that the director there and other directors could not separate their business from their personal expenses, and that's ruined the company. And of recent, I met a man at the tax office, and they were querying him, and he said something. He said, we had both the capital and the profits of the business, so I could not ascertain my tax. And that's the experience of most of the MSMEs. So first thing you need to do, separate your business expenses from your personal expenses. Number two, choose a bookkeeping system. Here, you want to know which system do I use to record my business transactions. Of course, there is manual system whereby people keep books, I mean physical books. But in this day of technology, there is software-based system. You can call it computerized system to keep your books of accounts. In fact, there are so many softwares, online softwares that are available now that anybody can use to keep the books of his business. But however, let me just chip it in there. You need the assistance of a professional to decide which software will be applicable. That's one aspect. After you have chosen whether manual or to use a software, the next thing is you need to choose. Am I using a single entry system or double entry system? There is no right or wrong. It's just a matter of picking the system that is right for your business and sticking with it consistently. If you are going to use single entry system, maybe your business is such that you are doing mainly cash businesses, mainly cash business. It could be. What is single entry? Single entry is a simple system that might work for you if your bookkeeping is very straightforward. Entries are recorded one time and either as either an input or output. Especially if you are doing your own bookkeeping, this is likely the approach you want to take. Just record the item once. Then double entry. This is more complex. Of course, is what the professionals use, but also more robust. First of all, transactions are entered into a journal, and then each item is entered into the ledger. You get it twice as both a debit and a credit. Let me just give you a little explanation here. Double entry is a way of ascertaining the correctness of the recording system, because every item of transactions are seen from two angles, from the credit side, from the debit side. And I wouldn't want to go too much into it because it's an area for the professionals. It may be confusing if I start explaining the whole thing. Using double entry method is complicated at first and may require help of a trained bookkeeper, but it will give you more accurate books overall. Think of it like double checking your answers before you hand in a math test. The next step is step 3. You need to choose an accounting method. Am I going to operate on cash basis or accrual basis? It is important to choose either a cash or accrual accounting method before you start your books. If you are using cash accounting, you only record transactions when money has exchanged hands. So if you bill a customer today, this transaction wouldn't enter your ledger until the customer paid you. Cash accounting system method of keeping records has some limitations, in the sense that we are in an environment we are discussing about credit. Cash accounting method does not accommodate credit. And that is why we also always say it is inappropriate to be used in businesses. Even the government establishments that are using cash accounting, they have changed to accrual accounting. So what is accrual accounting? Accrual accounting, you will record the income when you bill the customer, rather than waiting for them to pay you. In other words, when you bill the customer, you are recording. As you are putting your money into your sales, you are putting into another account to say that, oh, this man is still owing me. If you sell something to maybe J and Co, as soon as you bill the person, you put it in your sales, J and Co. We sold so to J and Co. And you create account for J and Co. And you put it there that J and Co. We sell to him, is owing us. So that's why accrual accounting is the best method for any business whatsoever. It totally captures your business transaction. You will record the income when you bill the customer rather than waiting for them to pay you. So at the end of the tax year, you've recorded all the income that you earned during that year, even if you haven't collected it yet. Same goes for deductions. That's the expenses. You deduct them when you are billed, not when you pay. If your company has inventory, in most cases, you'll be expected to use the accrual method. And that's another thing. Once you are keeping stock of goods, we call it inventory, then you are bound to use accrual method. Let's move to step number 4. Step number 4 is about categorizing your transactions. How do I categorize my transaction? That's the question there. Every transaction you make needs to be categorized when it's entered into your books. This helps your bookkeeper to catch more deductions and will make your life easier if you get audited. Let me just here mention and let us know that we have 5 types of accounts. We have assets, we have liabilities, we have what we call equity or owner's capital, and we have income and expenses. So the way you categorize your transaction will depend on your business and industry. Generally speaking, your transactions fall into 5 account types: assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, and expenses. Individual line items are then broken down into subcategories called accounts. Some accounts in your ledger might be revenue, ice cream sales, and also expenses on ice cream ingredients. And of course, the expenses on ice cream ingredients will constitute your cost of sales. So the actual work of categorizing will depend on your bookkeeping solution. If you are doing it all by yourself, you could make a note on each receipt. If you are using an online bookkeeping service, like we have a service like that, you just have a conversation with your bookkeeper about how you like your most common transactions to be categorized, and we will take it up from there. If you are going to be doing your own bookkeeping, it is worth talking to a professional when you set up your system to make sure the accounts you create align with your industry standards and your tax accountant expectations. Number 5. This is very, very important. Organize and store your documents. In business transactions, we have what we call source documents or supporting documents. Source or supporting documents like invoices, receipts, vouchers, and so on are essential for proper bookkeeping. These are needed to prove the consummation of a transaction. Let me explain. The moment you issue an invoice to a customer and the customer receives the invoice, the transaction is consummated already. And so you have all the rights to put it in your sales. You have all the rights to claim your money from the customer. Invoice here is a source document. It gives proof. It gives you entitlement. The source document can either be in soft or hard copy. I've seen places where they decided to keep soft source documents. And in fact, these days, when you are operating on software, you discover that most transactions going on online are done with a e-invoice. At tax time, the burdens on you to show the validity of all your expenses rest on you. So keeping supporting documents like receipts, invoices, and vouchers is crucial. The only language the taxman understands is your documents supporting the transaction in your in business. I need to lay emphasis on this because most MSME ignore this area. They neglect it. Some don't collect invoices. Some don't collect invoices from people they purchase something from. Some, in fact, some don't pay attention. Some even sell without even invoice. And this is making them to leave a lot of money on the table. Diamonds may be forever, but the ink on your expense receipt is not. And that's why, you can put it somewhere, maybe water pour on it. You can put it somewhere, maybe rats eat it. That's the limitation to physical records. But these days, you can always do it. You can photocopy it, or you can scan it and put it online, and it is there. When they ask you for it, you can always just print it out. So, in our system now, our Nigerian tax authorities now accept digital records. So it's smart to use a cloud-based system like Dropbox, Evernote, or Google Drive. So you never have to deal with as much receipts. There are also some apps that can be used for this. Number 6, I mentioned earlier on about deductions. Here you need to organize your potential deductions. And I need to chip it in here. Bookkeeping is not a voluntary thing. In fact, it has legal backing. It is stated in CAMA that you must keep proper books of your business. Also, Company Income Tax Act make it compulsory for you to do that. So it's a matter of law too that you have to abide with. So in taxation, the golden rule on deduction of expenses for income tax purpose is that the expenses must be wholly, reasonably, exclusively, and necessarily incurred for your business. These conditions must be satisfied mutually. What we mean by that is that your expenses, they are deductions that can use against your profits. And you need to organize this to know which one the tax law allows, which one they will disallow. A lot of people, a lot of MSMEs, they will just tell you, oh, we are doing one ceremony. In fact, I saw one that's so embarrassing. They were doing one rituals in their town, and he contributed to it. And the man stated it that it was used for maybe worship of one. Well, that will not be accommodated by the tax law. It will not be accommodated. And that should be your own personal expenses, not in the business expenses. Let me just give us the example I have here. You are maybe you are a writer, you are not, and you just told us you bought a pen for 20,000, and you want to claim it. It will not go well because the law will look at it. Is it reasonable? And is it necessary? So as an entrepreneur and a business owner, you need to pay attention to this, because the onus of proof of your tax deductions is on you. And all this needs to be taken into consideration from bookkeeping perspective. Make it a habit. Make bookkeeping a habit. A lot of our MSMEs, they careless about bookkeeping. And this starts from the fact that who keeps their records? Where they are not keeping it by themselves. Who keeps it? How competent is that person? Secondly, are you paying attention to what is being recorded for you? And that's why you need to make it a habit to look at what is being done. Is it up to date? What they said they recorded for you as sales, is it the true situation? All this you can ascertain through your supporting documents. So it is easy to fall behind on your bookkeeping when you've got all that things happening. To stay on track, try setting a finance date, an accounting date. No, sorry, not an accounting date, or in the sense of the way we use it in the profession, but finance date. Let me say finance date with yourself or your business partner once a month to get it done. What do I mean? You sit down. In fact, a month is even too much. A week, ascertain whether properly recorded so that errors can easily be discovered. Before I step down on this, I really want us to look at what I call a bonus. And the bonus is that step number 8 this time. Ensure that monthly financial statements are prepared, and find time to check through and look at it to be sure your business is where it's supposed to be. What I mean by that is that you need to know the performance and direction of your business.
Well, sir, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you have about 5 more minutes to wrap up your presentation, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So the next question is, do I do it myself or employ a professional bookkeeper? There are a ton of options out there for how to handle your books. They fall into 2 basic categories. That is, you do it yourself or have somebody else to do it for you. So that's the ball is your court. But one thing I want you to know is that even if you are doing it for yourself, there's a limit, because it's a technical area. You still need the assistance of a professional. The do it yourself approach. If your business is starting out as a side hustle with a limited budget, taking a do it yourself approach to get started. If you go this route, a consultation with a professional accountant to help you set up your books will ensure you don't end up with a year of books that have to be redone by a professional. Your do-it-yourself bookkeeping can be handled using a simple spreadsheet You can work with one of the many online bookkeeping programs available. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for the opportunity to just share a little with you. And I pray that you make use of it. Thank you very much.